Good usable product photography doesn't necessarily require lighting tents and high-end gear. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do simple product shots with 2 clamp lights and a basic white background. Okay, so here's what you're going to need. A table to place your products on. A white background, seamless paper works great. 2 clamp lights, I'm using ones with 9-inch reflectors. 2 CFLs, these are compact fluorescent lights. Mine are 26 watts, each producing the equivalent of a standard 100-watt incandescent light bulb. And you'll also need a tripod to keep the camera position and focus consistent, and because you'll probably be using slower shutter speeds. Your camera settings are going to depend on several factors, including the amount of light you have to work with. Use aperture priority or manual mode to maintain full control over your f-stop, and shoot in raw mode so that you'll have plenty of room to make adjustments to your exposure and white balance in post. Set a custom white balance or just give it your best guess and correct the white balance during editing. An aperture of at least f8 will keep everything in focus. You'll also want to keep your ISO setting as low as possible to minimize noise. Now the aperture and ISO you're using are going to determine the shutter speed. So since you're using a tripod, you can get away with slower shutter speeds, but I'd try to maintain a shutter speed of 1/15 of a second or faster. Set up your table and tack up or hang your background material so that a smooth curve is created where it transitions from background to display surface. I'm using a small roll of white seamless paper on a background stand for my setup. Place your product in position at a distance away from the background. Hang or clamp your lights on either side of the product about 45 degrees to the side and pointing 45 degrees down toward the product. Now this is only a starting point. In this demonstration, I'm hanging the clamp lights on actual light stands. With the camera mounted on the tripod, place it so that its position will accommodate most of the products you're going to be shooting. And you're going to want to aim for consistency here, which is going to make the images look better and help save you time. Okay, it's time to take some test photos and fine-tune your setup. With a basic setup like this, you can easily move the lights so that they cast shadows where you want them. One thing to be aware of is how your camera's meter affects exposure in this situation. Because your scene contains a large area of white, your camera's meter might think the scene is too bright, so it'll try to fix it by underexposing the image. If you're in aperture priority mode, you can compensate for this by dialing up your exposure compensation by about 1.5 stops. If you're in manual mode, try reducing the shutter speed or increasing the ISO. This is going to make sure that your whites are appearing as they should instead of being a muddy gray. Once you've got your setup and settings where you want them, you should be able to get good results with all the shots that follow.